Will only deepen a rapidly deteriorating humanitarian crisis. According to the Lebanese Prime Minister, over 1.2 million Lebanese people have already been displaced, and UNHCR has also indicated that I think about 70 to 80,000 Syrians are also going back or fleeing to Syria. So targeting a road like this is, of course, will impact the humanitarian situation further and will make it more difficult for people to flee. And just a reminder, these Lebanese and Syrian refugees who were, I guess, displaced now twice, are fleeing Israeli bombings from across Lebanon, particularly in the southern parts where the heavy bombardment has taken place.
Let's look at Iran as well. US President Joe Biden has said that he would think about alternatives to striking Iranian oil fields if he were in Israel's shoes. He also said that he didn't think Israel had actually decided how to respond at this stage to the strikes earlier this week. Do you think it's likely that we'll see Israeli strikes on Iran's oil infrastructure?
I think we have to wait and see what Israel's strikes would look like. But what we know is that they will be very serious and very much in line with what Netanyahu had warned against. And this will only risk further escalation, because we've also heard from Ayatollah Khamenei at the Friday sermon, which was a very rare appearance, that very much demonstrated that Iran would also strike back. And so then we will be engulfed yet again in a direct tit for tat between Israel and Iran. And that will also mean very active activation of the various proxies that Iran supports, even though they have been seriously injured with the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah.
As well as hearing from Ayatollah Khamenei, the Iran's foreign minister has also warned of harsh retaliation if Israel attacks Iran. But he has also supported a ceasefire in Lebanon, and that is a condition of his, that there'd be a simultaneous ceasefire in Lebanon and Gaza. How likely is that?
I mean, at this point, the window for diplomacy is a very narrow window. I know that the Biden administration has been working tirelessly on that, but they've also been sending mixed messages. Right when they were submitting the 21-day ceasefire proposal in New York for Lebanon, there were also reports this week that U.S. administration officials had given a nod to Israel to go up north and pursue Hezbollah. And so it's going to make this extremely difficult, because the United States will lose credibility amongst various allies due to some of these leaks. So the window is narrow, but I also see no other way moving forward, because otherwise we will be in a full-fledged all-out war.
And on that point this week, the US President Joe Biden has said that we can avoid an all-out war in the Middle East. Do you think we can?
The only way that an all-out war can be avoided is if enough pressure is basically put on all sides, including on Israel by the Biden administration, and including on Hamas through the different brokers, and on Hezbollah and on Iran. There are various channels to do this, but again, the window is narrow. But the United States has to use all the levers that it has with all the various parties.
What are those various channels?
Well, first of all, you have the GCC countries who just recently met with the Iranian presidents in Doha. I think this was very significant timing. If this channel could be used to basically convey messages from the United States to ensure that Iran will go back to its restraining position or posture in the region, then we will see some sort of de-escalation. And of course, that has to also be similarly done with Israel. But so far, it doesn't look like this is happening, particularly with these mixed messages that we've been hearing from the Biden administration. But it's the only way moving forward.